Tonight on the News Hour. Decision to close down schools during Ramadan sparks national debate on education. Mixed reaction trails CBN's new ATM withdrawal charges. Ex-Immigration Controller General dies under mysterious circumstances in Abuja. On the foreign scene, UN says M23 rebels abduct 130 hospital patients in eastern Congo amidst escalating crisis. Well, hello, good evening and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start in northern Nigeria as the decision by some northern state governments to close down schools for 5 weeks during Ramadan has sparked a nationwide debate. While the state governments justified the move based on the students' well-being, critics have argued that it could deepen Nigeria's education crisis. From Kano, Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports.
In Kano State, schools have already closed following a government directive. Authorities in Kano, Katsina, Bauchi and Kebbi states claim the decision was made due to extreme heat, which could reach up to 42 degrees Celsius, making it challenging for students to focus while fasting. While some parents and teachers support the closure, others, including the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, strongly oppose it.
Before, they used to start fasting 2 weeks before resumptions. Now, the Kano state governments decide to go on 5 weeks close times before resumption. At the same time, it's good for the Muslim brothers. It's good because they love this. The masses love it. They love staying at home, do nothing, and observe their fasting. It's fantastic.
Akwai yarinya ta take makaranta science and technical. Kullum ta tafi.
My daughter attends science and technical school, closing at 4 p.m. and getting home by 5 p.m. Fasting would make it very stressful for her. This policy helps ease the burden and even reduces expenses.
Ana hutu duk bayan wata uku, to amma yanzu an ce wata ukun bai ba.
A school term usually lasts 3 months, but this one was cut short. I feel the children are missing out and the issue needs to be addressed.
Barayin fa'ida shine yana da kyau a matsayin mu na musulmi da muke wannan wata.
There are pros and cons to this. Muslims will have more time for religious activities during Ramadan, but students might struggle to recall what they've learned after a 5-week break. The government should plan future terms better. Students should complete exams before Ramadan so they resume afresh afterward. The government insists that no school days will be lost as adjustments have been made to the academic calendar. However, NANS has issued a strong warning threatening a nationwide protest if the decision is not reversed. Some parents also fear the long break could disrupt their children's learning.
Wannan karin dai gaskiya fi sabilillahi a yanayin da aka tsinci rayuwa ya zama na wanda yake gaskiya ya kamata a zauna a samu daidaituwa.
At this point, given the current situation, we call for a resolution because any protest, strike or further stalling of activities would not lead to a solution to the issue of school closures. Right now in Nigeria, the best thing for us to do is pray because we don't feel our voices are being heard. However, any further shutdown of schools can never be good for us. As the debate rages on, it remains unclear whether other states like Sokoto, Zamfara and Jigawa will follow suit. For now, students in the affected states remain at home, awaiting the promised resumption of academic activities after Ramadan. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
As Ramadan enters its 4th day, the demand for ice block has surged in the nation's capital due to rising temperatures. In this report, Trust TV's Kabir Lawal explores how residents, particularly Muslims, are grappling with the soaring cost of ice blocks, which has become an essential commodity during the holy month. His report.
According to residents, the cost of ice block has become a source of concern, especially as Muslim faithful observing the Ramadan fast enters the 4th day. Block sellers in Abuja who are justifying the rise in price of ice block attribute it to epileptic power supply as well as cost for fuel for refrigeration. Currently, a block of ice which was sold at 350 naira is now being sold at 500 naira. Jonathan Debunk, who sells ice blocks, said the rise in prices occasioned by unstable power supply makes it unbearable for some Nigerians that use block for their businesses.
There's almost 10 years where I didn't see business. So before, this ice block, we used to sell it 250, even 150. So sometimes I said, some customer will come and say, I don't have money. We can help customer, we can give them for free. That will not be a problem. But now, as everything don't cost, people are complaining that everything too cost. So we put the ice block 700, sometimes 1,000, based on the condition of the business. Buy like maybe, say they used to sell kunu, sell no. So how much for their own interest? So we used to consider, sit with them. Okay, no problem. If now only one you need, we know how to solve it. Maybe 700, we can give it. But if you need it like plenty or 10, we'll know how to do it.
Retailers of ice block also expressed their displeasure over the rise in price, adding that most of the time they leave their houses early in the morning in search of ice blocks. We walk every day in the FCT in search of blocks. At times we get it at the rate of 1,200. Just because of the fasting period, and people must take it, and we also have to buy it to keep food for the table. We are calling on the government to please make the power supply stable to make our business thrive. Residents in Abuja have also appealed to Abuja Electricity Distribution Company (AEDC) to improve its service in order to ease business transactions.
This is a block oven where last year it was sold at the rate of 500 naira, but now they sell it 700 naira or more. And according to Jonathan, who sells blocks here, people come from other states to buy block from them. And he also called on the government to do the needful so as to enable youths to engage themselves meaningfully by selling blocks instead of depending on government job. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now to some of the day's other news. Following the rollout of the Central Bank of Nigeria's new policy increasing ATM withdrawal charges on March 1st, 2025, Nigerians have been reacting to the impact on their transactions. In this report, Trust TV's Noor Samson visits ATM points at the popular Utako market in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to capture public reactions to the Apex Bank's directive. His report.
According to the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, customers will continue to withdraw free of charge when using ATMs operated by their banks. However, withdrawals from other banks' ATMs will attract a charge of 100 naira for withdrawal up to 20,000 naira from an outside ATM. For those located outside the bank's premises, such as malls and airports, will attract a base charge of 100 naira per 20,000 naira plus additional surcharge of up to 500 naira per transaction. This means withdrawing 20,000 naira from an off-site ATM of another bank could cost up to 600 naira per transaction.
So you withdraw from the bank?
20,000 naira.
How much is the charges?
107.50 kobo.
So how do you feel about this particular charge now?
Not so good. Why? I feel bad. No, it's not my money that I'm withdrawing, but I feel the charges is a bit high compared to what we were having before. I think it was free. I could use my ATM card to withdraw from any bank I choose to withdraw without any charges. But now, at least I should have bring it down a bit, but it's a bit high.
So let's assume I'm withdrawing 100,000. They're getting like 1,000 naira out of me. It's too much. So at least they should less it. Even if it is 50-50 is better than that 100 at least.
Okay, the new charge is very bad. I use my ATM, SMB ATM, go to Eco Bank ATM at Jabi. They charge me 107 naira point some fraction of kobos. And very, very bad. Why is it more? Why must it be so?
Sylvester Matthew, a POS operator, speaks on the impact of the 15 naira charge on POS operators for transactions that are from 10,000 above and how they have been coping.
Imagine when I do a transaction, when I do like 100 transactions from 10,000 and above, I'm paying 15 naira. 15 naira times 100 is 5,000 naira already in one day. Now, if I work in complete 30 days, so I'm paying 5,000 times 30. That's how much. So no 150,000 naira when the government is not doing anything to me. For me, I mean. And you cannot increase your price when your customers they are running away. So in order for you to be in business, You just have to maintain, but it's not helping at all.
Despite the explanation from CBN Governor Olayemi Cardozo that the policy aimed to encourage banks to improve cash availability at ATMs and expand their ATM network, Nigerians are still not pleased with the new charges, even as they appealed to the central government to look into the matter. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, similarly, in Lagos State, residents are voicing their frustration over the increasing ATM withdrawal fees, with many now considering a return to traditional home-saving methods. Here's the report.
Nigerian banks' introduction of new charges fees from all bank customers across the country marks the end of the 3-free withdrawal policy on other banks' automated teller machine (ATM) before being charged on the 4th withdrawal. Under the new structure, customers will not be charged for using automated teller machine of their respective banks. However, transaction at automated teller machine of other banks will now attract a fee of 100 naira per 20,000 withdrawals, and any automated teller machine that is not linked to any specific banking will incur a base fees of 100 plus a subcharge of 500 per 20,000 naira withdrawn. Residents of Lagos and some point-of-sales operators lamented the high charges in the new regime, saying it is affecting their small business operation, while other citizens vow to go back to old method of saving money in the house than depositing in banks.
They should not let that 500 or 550 they should be taking it from somebody's account. But by the time somebody withdraw five times a day, you know how much is that? And compared to the economies of the country, it will affect many people. So I do not agree with it. The government should change it.
The bank charges at POS, they are consuming people money too much, which is not good for what they are doing now. And that is the reason why I say I will not put money in the bank again. Rather, let me put my money in the house, because very soon all people money, they will consume them all, say no money again.
It's better to go and keep the money for inside. So it's better. It's no need to use the bank again, because the way he has done us is too bad. When you want to collect the money, he will tell you that you can't collect more than this so amount.
In as much as the government may have good intention towards it, but the policy is really affecting the common man. They are not encouraging banking sector anymore. They are not encouraging us to keep our monies in the bank. We will have to derive our old days of where we keep money at home. I believe that will begin to happen now.
The removal of the 3-fee withdrawal per month on other banks' automated teller machine marks a major shift for customers, as the charge is expected to impact customers' banking behavior, pushing more Nigerians towards digital banking alternative and even encourage more withdrawals in higher sums in fewer transactions.
Now, the House of Representatives has called on MultiChoice Nigeria, owners of DSTV and GoTV, to suspend their planned increase in subscription rates. This followed a motion of urgent national importance by Representative Esosa Eyawe on the need to halt the increase pending an investigation. Here's the report.
Less than 2 weeks ago, Nigerians woke up to the news of a 20 to 25% increase in the subscription rates of MultiChoice, owners of Pay TV, DSTV and GoTV. The digital satellite TV had announced a price hike in all its packages, citing prevailing economic factors, which it says have led to increased operational costs. The decision, which sparked public outcry, topped discussion on the floor of the House. The lawmaker is worried and wants the House to probe the alleged arbitrary price increase by the organization.
Many whom have taken to social media to express their frustration over frequent price hikes without a corresponding improvement in service quality, and the seeming aloof stance of the government towards this situation.
Meanwhile, a bill to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act to review the functions of the polytechnics, sponsored by the Speaker, Abbas Tajuddin, and Representative Fuad Laguda, passed second reading. The bill also seeks to address the challenge of dichotomy between polytechnics and universities.
The clause 3 is to amend the section 8, which is to seek
to raise the bar in respect of qualification of those seeking to occupy the position of rectors in the Federal Polytechnic of Nigeria. The clause 4 is to amend the section 15 of Principal Act, which is seek to enlarge the powers of academic board to, among other awards, Bachelor of Technology, BTech honors.
We should move for the abolishment of HND, and in place of it to have Bachelor of Technology as a replacement, so that at least graduates of polytechnics will be able to compete hand in hand with other universities.
In another development, a motion calling on government at all levels to pay serious attention to the management of waste pollution and its impacts on health and environment was adopted.
The House is worried that the consequences of continued neglect of our environment could result in, as it had often been the case, serious health challenges for our people. All in addition to degeneration of the nation's ecosystem, loss of agricultural productivity, and environmental degradation, especially in the coastal region of the country.
The sponsor, Representative Julius Pondi, called for collaboration between and among government at all levels.
The FCT Police Command has refuted media reports claiming that retired Controller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service, David Shikfu Parradang, was kidnapped and later killed. In a statement, the Command's Public Relations Officer, Josephine Ade, clarified that Parradang checked into Joy House Hotel at Area 3 Junction on Monday, March 3rd, driving a black Mercedes-Benz. According to Josephine Ade, shortly after checking in, he asked a hotel room attendant to escort a female guest who had come to visit him. The lady left the hotel premises at around 4 p.m. on the same day, and Parradang did not exit his room afterward. Concerned for his well-being, a military officer, a friend to the late Controller General, traced his location to the hotel at around 4 a.m. on Tuesday, March 4th. Upon arrival, the hotel receptionist and the officer proceeded to his room, where they found him deceased, sitting in a chair. His body has since been transferred to the National Hospital in Abuja for further procedures, while hotel staff are cooperating with the police investigation. Efforts, according to the police, are also underway to locate and arrest the female guest. Still talking security, one of the 4 students abducted by gunmen from the Federal University Dutse in Katsina State has been rescued, while efforts are ongoing to secure the release of the remaining 3 in captivity. Security expert Zagazuela Makama disclosed this in a post on X on Monday. The abducted students include Adewale Bolaji from the Department of Computer Science, Emmanuel Michael and Favor Michael, both from the Department of Food Management Science. Reports indicate that the students who reside in the Paris Quarters area of Dutse in Katsina State were taken by suspected gunmen at around 2 a.m. on Sunday when armed attackers stormed the area. At the time of filing this report, the Katsina State Police Command is yet to issue an official statement confirming this development. Elsewhere, the commander of the 6th Brigade, Nigerian Army, and Sector 3 Operation Well Struck, Brigadier General Kingsley Chidebere Uwa, has announced a significant decline in kidnapping, banditry, and communal conflicts in Taraba State. He attributed this progress to sustained military operations and a firm commitment to tackling criminal elements across the state, which have begun yielding positive results. General Uwa made the position known on Tuesday are receiving participants of the Nigerian Army Resource Center Strategic Management and Policy Studies Course 7 2025 who are on a study tour of Taraba State. Highlighting the brigade's operational successes over the past year, he emphasized the effectiveness of both kinetic and non-kinetic strategies in combating insecurity. He also showcased arms and ammunition recovered during various military operations, while commending the troops for their resilience and dedication. Speaking during the visit, Major General Dahiru Sanusi, who represented the Director General of the NARC, Major General Garba Ayodeji Wahab, retired, praised the 6th Brigade of the Nigerian Army officers and men for their unwavering commitment to addressing security challenges in Taraba State and the nation at large. You're watching the news hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Tourists call for investment in Sumu Wildlife Park to help boost Bauchi State's tourism potential. Well, details on this and many more stories up ahead. Join us again. Welcome back to the news hour on Trust TV. Thank you most kindly for staying with us. Now let's take another look at our top stories. Decision to close down schools for Ramadan sparks national debate on education. Mixed reaction trails CBN's new ATM withdrawal charges across the nation. Concerns are mounting over the rising number of people with hearing impairment in Nigeria and indeed across the world. According to the World Health Organization, untreated hearing loss in children can delay language development, leading to poor academic performance and limited career prospects. In response to this growing concern, experts in Kaduna are urging Nigerians to avoid practices that could negatively impact their hearing. Trust TV's Bello Musa has more.
Hearing impairment is a prevalent health issue in Nigeria, affecting about 3.5 million children between the ages of 0 and 15 and 23.7% of Nigerians. According to experts, certain practices affect the hearing ability of an individual.
The first one is trauma. Usually, most people use either cotton bud or sticks in their ear to clean their ear or to scratch when it itches. That is bad because it causes injury in the ear and can even damage the eardrum and cause hearing problem. Secondly, especially young people, they are in the habit of listening to loud music, using earpiece or going to clubs and setting the volume very high. So that can damage the hearing too.
According to a WHO report, 75% of hearing loss on children is preventable. Therefore, experts advise that early detection and screening will help to remedy some of the challenges.
For screening tests for children, most children when they are born, newborn babies, it's good for mothers to bring them to the hospital so that they get tested. And then after being born, there is need for the mothers to stick to ensure that they complete their immunization, because there are certain diseases that are preventable by immunization, and when it's not done, that can lead to, if those diseases occur, it can affect hearing.
According to reports, more than 55% of countries in Africa have just a single ear, nose and throat specialist for every million people, while in Europe, it is roughly 50 per million. This, they say, calls for more attention.
You know, ENT is an evolving specialty, even among the doctors, because we have very few ENT surgeons in Nigeria. We are not up to 215 ENT surgeons, where you have almost a population of 250 million. So you can see that it's a very rare specialty, even wherever you go in the world. Okay.
An estimate reveals that 40 million Africans are living with hearing loss, while it costs the continent millions of dollars annually due to its significant impact on individuals and economies. In line with the theme of the just concluded World Hearing Day, changing mindset, Nigerians are hoping to see more commitment from government to improving the education sector. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, Gombe State High Court has adjourned proceedings in an ongoing land dispute case following an application by the Gombe State government to rejoin as a defendant. The case, which involves Grand Scope Construction and Emir General Limited, has taken a new turn as the plaintiff accuses the company of defying a court order to halt construction on the disputed land. The land in question was contracted by the government for the development of a new mechanic village in Gombe State. Here's Hassan Kohli with more on the story.
At the Gombe State High Court, legal proceedings in the contentious land dispute have taken a new turn. The court had to adjust its sitting after the Gombe State government formally filed an application seeking to be joined as a dependent in the case. Earlier, the Emir General Integrated Limited sued Grandscope Construction Limited for developing a structure proposed as a mechanic village by the state government on its land. However, the latest development has raised fresh concerns, with a plaintiff accusing Grandscope Company of ignoring a prior court injunction that ordered a halt to any construction or development on the disputed land. According to the plaintiff's legal representatives, the company has continued to erect structures on the site despite the standard court directive.
The court heard us on our motion. They want to join. On our part, we say, no, we don't have any problem with the government joining as defendants. So the only issue is the application to set aside the order we got before. That is order for interim injunction. That's our only objection. Ordinarily, we are not opposing their application for joinder. So when we saw that they did not, they refused to comply with even the interim order restraining them, so we brought an application for committer to commit their directors to prison for failure to comply with the order of court.
At the end of the proceedings, the defendant's lawyers avoided journalists, while the courts considered the government's application to align with Grandscope Construction Company. Legal experts say the issues raise significant questions about adherence to court rulings and the potential consequences for the parties involved in defying judicial orders. The case has now adjourned to March 28 to allow for deliberations on the government motions, with all eyes now beaming on how the court will rule on both the application and the accusations against Grandscope Construction Limited. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
A group of tourists and journalists has identified Sumu Wildlife Park in Bauchi State as a potential hub for attracting local and foreign investment to help boost the tourism sector and drive economic stability. The observation was made during a recent visit to the park, which is regarded as one of the state's key tourism assets. Trust TV's Adamu Imam was part of the group and now reports.
The group during the visit to the Sumu Wildlife Park described the place as worthy enough for government to commit more resources for the benefit of the people, while turning it into a revenue-generating entity. Ilya Usman, one of the rangers in the park, expressed hope that the ongoing rehabilitation of the water dam will provide enough water for the animals. We hope that this place can be revived by the present state government, because the construction of a new dam is a welcome development, because it will address the shortage of water. Before we encountered some challenges, but now we are hopeful that things will change. While sharing their experiences, some of the tourists identify lack of viewing vehicles as one of the challenges that need to be addressed by the authorities concerned.
Fortunately, the only thing that I can say is a challenge as far as the visit is concerned is my inability to see so many species of the animals in the bush or in the game reserve. But as we were informed that some of the animals were deep down into the bush, we cannot be able to access them because of the inability of us to get the required vehicle to convey us there.
But giraffe are the animals that are friendly, they don't attack, they even come close to you and we're able to take pictures with them. And I also learned that in this period, this is actually the dry period, so the food is not enough for them. So the camp guides they have to come and give them food, and they have a peculiar way of attracting them.
We have so many animals that people would like to come and see. So the government should just improve in terms of vehicles, the rest house, and some, even the food of the animals. They should provide so many that the animals will not be starved.
They are of the opinion that the Sumu Wildlife Park has the capacity to create job opportunities for the teeming youth in the state and beyond, if its potentials are fully harnessed. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Still watching the news hour on Trust TV. We'll be back in just a moment with more news stories. Stick around. Welcome back to the news. The Nigerian government has reaffirmed its commitment to attracting and retaining investments despite the challenging business environment in the country, exacerbated by inadequate infrastructure and rising energy costs. This assurance was given by the Ministers of Industry, Trade and Investment during the ongoing ministerial briefings organized by the Ministry of Information and National Orientation in Abuja. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman has more.
With businesses shutting down and investment levels dwindling due to high cost of operations, the Nigerian government insists it is implementing policies and interventions to change the narrative. Despite persistent grid collapses and rising energy costs, manufacturers are struggling to remain competitive against foreign counterparts. However, the Tinubu administration says it is committed to leveraging Nigeria's comparative advantages and exploring alternative solutions.
Attracting investments, it definitely needs a conducive environment and conducive tariffs. That's why we continue to push and work with the fiscal side and monetary side of the government to make sure that we are the champions for trade in government, we're the champions for industry. We continue to work with other agencies. As you know, from PEPEC, I was working with over 50 federal agencies on ease of doing business.
The government maintains that ongoing efforts are already yielding results as it explores policy-driven approaches to ease the challenges faced by businesses.
Early in the life of this administration, Mr. President provided a 200 billion intervention that was meant for 50 billion of that was meant for non-businesses as grants, and then 75 billion for MSMEs, and another 75 billion for manufacturers. I think that that provision, that intervention, is still being managed by the Bank of Industry.
As the Tinubu administration approaches its midterm mark amid economic struggles, the government is intensifying its engagement with citizens through the ministerial platform to account for its stewardship. While officials highlight progress, concerns persist over the impact or lack thereof of the administration's policies on businesses and the overall economy. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, in a heartfelt act of charity, the Knights of Columbus, a US-based Catholic organization, has donated 93 wheelchairs to individuals living with disabilities in Adamawa State. The initiative, coordinated by the Catholic Diocese of Yola, aims to enhance mobility and inclusion for the beneficiaries, cutting across religious lines. Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo reports from Yola.
Majorities of the beneficiaries arrived at the Secretariat of the Catholic Diocese of Yola in tricycles, assisted by relatives and friends. The atmosphere was emotional as they gathered to receive the much-needed support. Selected across different religious backgrounds, the recipients will now find movements easier in a country where people living with disabilities often receive little to no attention.
In society, we need to have the attention of everybody in the society. Individual, community, religious and non-religious organizations, and even the government. Even in terms of assessing buildings, people should be able to build with the physically challenged in mind so that they can have easy access to it. The government may be doing its own in different ways, but again, we cannot have enough and we need more. I call on the government to redouble its effort in supporting the physically challenged.
The donation, facilitated by the Knights of Columbus, follows a request from Bishop Stephen Mamza of the Yola Diocese. Presenting the wheelchairs, Bishop Mamza emphasized that the initiative aligns with the organization's commitment to supporting vulnerable communities worldwide. He expressed profound gratitude for the donation, stressing its significance in improving the lives of people living with disabilities in the region.
2 years ago, one of their members was here and I expressed the need for wheelchair for the physically challenged. And since then, they took note of my request and they promised they were going to send wheelchairs. And by the grace of God, they were able to fulfill their promise. They were able to send 93 wheelchairs to the Catholic Diocese of Yola to be distributed to the physically challenged, especially those that are crippled.
The Catholic Diocese of Yola, in collaboration with local leaders and volunteers, ensured a seamless distribution process. The beneficiaries, visibly moved by the gesture, expressed deep appreciation for the thoughtful intervention. Many noted that the gift of a wheelchair will not only improve their mobility, but also enhance their ability to participate more actively in their communities.
As for persons with disability, if you don't have a mobility, you have a double disability. So when you have the opportunity to get one, you ease your movement.
We thank the donors of this wheelchair, the Knights of St. Columbus. We are very grateful because this chair is our second leg. It will take us to places. And coming here is a meeting point. We meet with our people. We encourage each other.
Religious organizations continue to play a vital role in addressing societal challenges with a firm commitment to supporting the vulnerable and marginalized. Gibson Soadgo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Heavy rainstorm on Monday wreaked havoc in several communities in Akure, Ondo State, destroying a public school, church and vehicles, as well as houses worth hundreds of millions of naira. The 4-hour downpour battered Elewo, Iluabo and Bolurunduro communities in Akure North local government area of the state, leaving many residents counting their losses. Shops, stores and electric poles supplying power to the affected communities were also damaged, further worsening the impact of the storm. Although properties were extensively affected, no loss of life has been reported. Now, Nigeria's power sector has reached a new peak generation record of 5,713.6 megawatts, according to the Transmission Company of Nigeria. The milestone, achieved on Monday at about 9:30 p.m., surpasses the previous record of 5,543.2 megawatts set on February 14, 2025 by 170.4 megawatts. While the new record falls below the 88 megawatts, short of the all-time high of 5,801.6 megawatts recorded back in 2001, it marks significant progress in efforts to stabilize and enhance the nation's power sector infrastructure. Additionally, the power sector set a record for the highest daily energy delivery, reaching 125,542.06 megawatt hours on March 2nd, 2025. Despite economic headwinds in 2024, Nigerian cement manufacturers have recorded significant profit growth, driven by price hikes and sustained investor interest in their stocks. An analysis of Dangote Cement PLC, Boa Cement PLC and Lafarge Africa PLC's unaudited financial statement shows that their after-tax profit collectively rose to 677.48 billion naira, a 17.6% increase from the 576 billion naira in 2023. Dangote Cement led with 503 billion naira profit, followed by Lafarge Africa with 100 billion naira, with Boa Cement recording 73 billion naira, all fueled by strong revenue growth. Now, their combined cement sales revenue surged by 68% to 5.1 trillion naira, and that is from the 3.06 trillion naira recorded in 2023. Analysts at Cardinal Stone Research predict that while higher prices will support revenue growth, severe cost pressures, higher energy prices, haulage cost, FX losses, and a higher tax rate may strain profit margins. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be back with the latest on the foreign scene. Join us again. To developments on the international scene, Rwandan-backed M23 rebels have abducted at least 133 sick and wounded people from 2 hospitals in a major city in eastern DRC, according to the United Nations. On February 28, M23 fighters attacked the CBCA Ndosho Hospital and the Heal Africa Hospital in Goma, a strategic city they had seized earlier this year. Ravina Shamdasani, a spokesperson of the United Nations Human Rights Office, said in a statement, "The rebels took away 116 patients from CBCA and 15 others from Heal Africa, whom they suspected of being Congolese army soldiers or members of the pro-government Wazalendo militia." M23 rebels have swept across eastern DRC since the start of the year, seizing key towns and killing some 3,000 people in the most significant escalation of the conflict in more than a decade. In a lightning 3-week offensive, the M23 rebels took control of Goma and the main city in eastern DRC and seized Bukavu, the country's second city. The region is rich in gold and coltan, a mineral essential for the production of capacitors used in most consumer electronics such as laptops and smartphones. The United Nations has reported that sexual violence against children is being employed as a common strategy in the ongoing conflict in Sudan. A recent report highlights that millions of children are in jeopardy due to this alarming trend. In a shocking report, the United Nations Children Agency has revealed that children as young as 1 have been victims of rape across 9 states in Sudan. As of early 2024, the agency reported that 221 children, including boys, have suffered this horrific fate at the hands of armed men. These alarming statistics were gathered from gender-based violence service providers operating in the region, highlighting the severe impact of ongoing violence on the youngest and most vulnerable members of society. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu returned to the witness stand on Tuesday in his ongoing corruption trial, becoming the first sitting Israeli leader to testify as a criminal defendant. The trial marks a significant low point for Israel's longest-serving leader, who is also facing an international arrest warrant over alleged war crimes in Gaza. Netanyahu is answering charges of fraud, breach of trust, and bribery in 3 separate cases. He is accused of accepting luxury gifts, cigars, and champagne worth tens of thousands of dollars from a billionaire Hollywood producer in exchange for political favors. Additionally, prosecutors alleged that Benjamin Netanyahu pushed regulatory benefits for media moguls in return for positive media coverage for himself and his family. Netanyahu denies any wrongdoing, calling the charges politically motivated, quote, witch hunt by a biased legal system and a hostile media. His testimony comes after years of scandals surrounding him and his family, known for their lavish lifestyles at taxpayers' expense. Time now for some sports. Adeni Ajishafe has the latest.
Nigeria's para-badminton players are set to compete in 2 major international tournaments in Spain, marking a crucial step in their quest for global recognition. The 2025 Spanish Level 2 International Para-Badminton Championship will take place in Victoria, Spain from 4 to 9 March 2025. 5 Nigerian players will compete in the singles category: Eniola Bolaji, Okoro Loki, Chukwemeka Gift, Eze Sunday, and Unana Jeremiah. Following these, 3 Nigerian players participate in the Spanish International Level 1 Para-Badminton Championship in Todo, Madrid from 12 to 16 March. The players include Eniola Bolaji in women's SL3 singles, Unana Jeremiah men's SL4 singles and doubles, and Eze Sunday, men's SL3 singles and doubles. Jeremiah and Eze will also team up in the men's SL3 SL4 doubles event, further strengthening Nigerians' presence at the international stage. This tournament provides an opportunity for Nigerian para-badminton athletes to showcase their talent against some of the best players in the world as they continue to push for greater representation in para-badminton competitions. And in wrestling, Nigeria is set to host the 13th Economic Community of West African States Wrestling Tournament in Abuja from 6 to 8 March 2025 as part of celebration marking the 50th anniversary of the West African Regional Body. In collaboration with the National Sports Commission, the event will be staged at the Velodrome Package A of MK Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, bringing together top wrestling talents across West Africa. National Sports Commission Chairman Shehu Diko and Director General Bukola Olakpade welcomed the opportunity for Nigeria to host the tournament, assuring that Nigeria will deliver a hospitable and world-class event. The championship is expected to strengthen regional sport ties while showcasing Nigeria's growing stature as a hub for international sporting events. And in football, Super Eagles head coach Erisoko Chel has named goalkeeper Stanley Wabali and Adeleye Adebayo, defenders William Ekong, Calvin Bassey and Olaoluwa Aina, midfielders Alex Iwobi, Wilfred Ndidi, and forwards Ademola Lookman, Victor Osimhen, and Simon Moses in a professional list of 39 players for March crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches against Rwanda and Zimbabwe. The list also have goalkeeper Maduka Okoye, defenders Bruno Yemechi, Zaidu Sanusi, midfielders Frank Oyeka, Fisayo Dele Bashiru, and forwards Ahmed Musa, Samuel Chukwueze, and Sadiq Umar. Defenders Igor Obu and Ifeanyi Onyebuchi, midfielders Anthony Dennis, Chris Santos Uche, Papadane Mustafa, and forwards Toluwa Rokodare and Jerome Ako Adams are named for their debut Super Eagles invite, while there could be the return for home-based goalkeeper Kyle Debankole, defender Jordan Trunariga, midfielder Joseph Ayodele Aribo, and forwards Cyril Desert and Nathan Taylor if they eventually make the final list of 23. Nigeria, 5th in Group C behind Rwanda, South Africa, Benin Republic, and Lesotho, face Amavubio Rwanda in Kigali on 24th March before taking on Zimbabwe's Warriors at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, Uyo, 4 days later. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajisabo.
That is it. You're up to date with the latest news stories of the day. Thank you most kindly for joining us on the News Hour. Do well to follow us across our social media platforms just to stay in touch. You can also visit our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news, programs, and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. For myself and the rest of the team, thank you for joining us on the News Hour. Good night.